Yep, go for it.
We are back online on YouTube.
Okay. All right. All right, we still got a quorum. Adam said he's going to get back on. All right, folks, little bit of technical difficulty. I think there's a lot of crazy electrical things going out there. We were we were very good and stopped what we were talking about. So we'll jump back into our discussion of the leave carryover request. I believe it was going dark when I said I would support asking the town administrator to go back and say, well, what is the plan? Work with these 3 employees. If we're gonna approve this, we would like to see what is the plan to take that vacation, because without a plan, we would just think, all right, well, you're just going to roll it again next year. I get it that it's COVID, and I think at least 2 of the letters mentioned that. And we should be, for the small staffs that we have, I think we should be understanding of that. But when Jeff said, well, what is the plan? When are you going to take it? Because it's just going to get a can kicked down the road from a management perspective. What do you think of that, team? Asking Adam to come back to us on the 9th with whatever the plan is going to be for them to take that time.
Honestly, Mr. Chairman, I don't think, I think what you're going to have is folks that just use their vacation time, and operationally will just have to deal with it.
So you're saying they're going to throw?
I'm just saying.
Fine.
That's my thought.
Well, I mean, Adam, what's your thoughts? What Jeff is saying, it's from a management perspective, like a spreadsheet or otherwise. It's saying you're supposed to take time. If you're going to stamp your fist and say, they said it was COVID, you have no idea what it was like trying to staff that office. If that's where the heels get dug in, I understand that. But again, I'm one vote. The team's got to kind of go through this as well.
Did only one letter mention COVID? I'm trying to look up the 3rd letter that we got. Because if you go case by case, I can see where the highway is short-staffed.
Both offices are. Highway was, and now with the treasurer collector.
Thank you, Adam. And she has extra duties. If you read that Roselli report, there's no board of trustees for our trust funds, and it falls on her.
Oh, damn it.
Take a break.
Hannah, what do you recommend? Or Steve, whoever's listening in?
On my screen, we're still recording. I don't have an option to start recording again. Let me try something, please.
Mr. Chair, you heard that same announcement, right? The recording stopped.
Yep. Well, I can see it. It's in my upper left-hand screen. You'll see if it's record. It's a little indicator to let you know that it's being recorded, and I don't see it on right now. They have it on the They have it on the live server.
We do record in the Castus server as our main recording source. Zoom's usually just a backup. Let me see if we need the Zoom recording to continue.
And my YouTube ends up being a recording as well. So
okay. And
this is a third backup. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Castle.
So Adam, I mean, I can support you, but in the future, like Jeff was saying, that it's got to, you have to be able to come and not have a plan. I think that's what I'm not happy about. but I understand what their situation is. I can support the rollover. I think it's just something that we really need to figure out how to better manage. That's all I have to say about it. Tim, Jeff, Terry.
This isn't the first time it's come before us. Yeah, we need to figure out how to get this resolved. People need to take care of their health and take their vacation.
Is the third request, Adam, is there a difference between saying 40 hours and allow floating 1 week of vacation time? I don't understand the allow of flowing. What does that mean? I'm writing to request the board allow floating 1 week of vacation time to FY22. Is that basically saying 40 hours, like a work week?
Work week, I would use a work week for her, treasurer collector, because I believe it's 38 hours, which is different than highway. So I would just say the treasurer collector's work week.
Okay. All right. I move to approve the rollover of 40 hours of vacation time from FY21 to FY22 for Bob Sozik and Mark Danielson, and a treasurer collector work week rollover from 21 to 22 for Cheryl Richardson.
So moved.
I did move, if you want to second it.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I'm ready for you to yell at me, Jeff. I agree. We gotta fix it. I hope that I said something that, you know, we need a plan. Adam, in the future, I'll tell you, it's much better if you come to the board with a plan. I
can tell
get
you
where
what-
we're at right now. I got the shade that you gave me. I got it. And we want to move forward for some employees that did a lot of hard work this year. And that's where my head's at, but you got to come with a better plan. I'm sorry, I talked over you.
I was going to say, after the board didn't approve the blanket, I sent an email out to everybody encouraging them to use their vacation time. I had some folks that couldn't do it. They asked me to put a request in, and I put it forward.
Yep. Further discussion on the motion for the rollover. Hearing none, on the motion to approve the rollover of 40 hours of vacation time from 21 to 22 for Bob Sozik and Mark Danielson, and a treasurer collector work week as presented for a rollover from 21 to 22 for Cheryl Richardson. How do you vote, Jeff?
No.
Terry?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And I vote yes. 3, 4, 1 against. Right. The next item is action related to town hall accessible counters. This is the accessible counters bid. Adam, what do you got for us?
He went out to bid for the accessible counters of the town hall reconfiguration. Unfortunately, we did not land any bids. We have since went back out to bid. We've sent the list to 55 contractors, put on the central register combis like we did before. Last time we even reached out, but we went out to 55 and we sent out the short form advertisement. We'll see what happens here. I mean, the board, we'll see if we get a bid. If we don't, it's a challenge. The construction industry is booming, and people are not bidding on. It's interesting. You go out for a roof, you get a lot of folks that bid, but you go out for this, it's different.
I have 2 questions for you, Adam. Do you think it's overly, the designs, do you think they're overly technical? Or my second question, do you think trying to do this on the skeleton of an older school house, you know, difference in use, do you think either of those is working against us as far as getting bids back?
I wouldn't say the technical specifications are, because it was similar when we did the library roof. I would
Okay.
say having there's a lot of people that do roofing,
Yeah.
but when it comes to these counters, and it's probably not as obvious. You would have to probably have somebody like a general contractor that has a little bit more technical skills, if you will. That's my assumption.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can't change the fact that it's at a school, a former school. That's what that was, the purpose of that building was for that. I just wonder from an engineering perspective, if there's something that when they review that are the request for proposal, that, technically that it's a difficult job. I don't know. So you're basically saying, let me go back out to a wider audience.
Yes.
What do you need from us? Do you need anything from us?
No action, because the board already approved the first, unless the board wanted to take action not to go out again.
No, I mean, we're opening up. I mean, June 1st, I think that's a good thing. Like we said, we're going to get in front of this. We're going to open up the town offices. And this is designed to build better offices for employee safety in mind. So we'll just proceed. But we don't have, at least we're not now thinking of this is hanging over our head. Like we can't open up town hall until we get these things. We've kind of, let that pass behind us. We still want to do the work. We've got the money for it. I guess we just got to be patient is what you're telling us. Anything else for Adam on that, on the accessible counters bid? Nothing heard. Moving on in the agenda. Action related to Juneteenth holiday, June 19th. Adam, do you have anything on that for us?
I have that memorandum. It's very short, and the backup materials.
Okay.
Here's like half the communities on that list I sent to you have taken action. Some have taken no action. I mean, it does fall on a Saturday. The
The
board,
next 2 years. Yeah, the next 2 years. The June 19th falls on a weekend, and then like 23 or 24, it falls on a weekday. I also saw the list of all the towns. It looked like a lot of towns are trying to figure out what other towns were doing. Our option is to adopt this and have it as a paid holiday, or what is the other option? What does take no action do?
like what other communities have done, they haven't taken any action on it.
And so June 19th is just a regular day in our community.
Well, as far as I know, I mean, it's one of these things where I think eventually there'll have to be action taken on it. It is a
Okay.
state holiday. Those are my thoughts on it. But I do want to bring it up to the board. I mean, we do have to recognize the fact that it is a state holiday, and
Yeah, I see that. I mean, the part from the Secretary of State. So, it's legit, like it's in terms of codification within law and otherwise, it's basically how are we going to address it within our community?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, again, I turn to our personnel policy, and it says, per mass law, holidays falling on a Sunday are celebrated on a Monday. all holidays falling on Saturday are celebrated on Monday. Now, you look at the state law, and the state law from the Secretary of State's office, which is even, I looked at what the schools are doing, and the school said, well, this year it's on a Saturday, so your kids, teachers, you don't get the day off. And the Secretary of State's site, and if you contact them, that office, it will tell you that holidays falling on a Sunday are celebrated on the Monday. If they fall on a Saturday, they're celebrated on the Saturday. So if this board in this personnel policy, if Christmas falls on a Saturday, instead of saying, well, enjoy your Christmas, we'll see you Monday. If we're giving them Monday off for a holiday that falls on a Saturday, again, I look at this, and that's what it says in our personnel policy right now. All holidays falling on a Saturday are celebrated on Monday. I don't know. I wasn't on the board when they redid the personnel policy. If we meant to follow the state law or the guidance from the Secretary of State, or if this is an added benefit for town employees, where you're getting a paid day off, even though a holiday might fall on your 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But again, like I said, DESE has in schools, and I looked at a number of towns, and even towns that took action, it falls on a Saturday, so you don't get anything, you don't get time off. Next year, when it's on a Sunday, well, you'll get Monday off.
Yeah. And Jeff, it's set on page 191 of our packet. You got to look at it sideways or turn it to the side. It says within that Secretary of State legal holidays, like for Christmas Day, this year, Christmas is on Saturday. It has item number 1 and 3. Number 1 deals with liquor. Number 3, all holidays falling on Sunday must be observed on Monday under state law. Saturday holidays are observed on a Saturday. So we're really only taking on from the weekend perspective, Sunday and Mondays. Otherwise, it's observed on a Saturday, and they don't get that.
Right, but in our personnel policy right now, it says all holidays falling on a Saturday are celebrated on Monday, and that's on page 23.
Would that
So-
what if it's in conflict with state law?
That's what I'm
Right.
I wasn't on the board when they did this. I don't know if if the board decided, well, we'll give our employees an extra day, or if the intent was to follow mass law and it's just worded incorrectly.
Yeah.
And that's a thing I think that we would, if we don't take any action on it because it's on a Saturday, if we're going to wait and see or look at it further, that would be something we could decide on and amend the personnel policy along those lines.
I
But
agree.
I'm just pointing out, the personnel policy says this, and the Secretary of State says it differently. And the schools are, they're not taking it. They told the kids, it's a Saturday, you ain't getting school's not being closed. So it's just a notation that I saw when I was looking vacation and these holidays.
Jeff, I'd be into the board. I'd be amendable to adopt June 19th as a paid holiday following the state guidance. And if we have to change personnel policy, Adam, just if the state law basically points to our personnel policy and it's incorrect, then get it to whatever we need to do to change that, get it as an agenda item so that we correct that. Good catch, Jeff. But based on that, I'd be in favor of adopting Juneteenth Day as the rest of this, as the Secretary of State and many other towns and communities have done.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Tim.
just a thought to go behind this. Juneteenth is actually specified June 19th. Does not give the ability to roll it to a different day because it is targeting one specific day. I understand what our personnel policy says. I understand the state adopted it. It's a very convoluted and confusing way to celebrate something. Looking at the history, this goes back 155 years into Galveston, Texas. And I'm not quite sure what the intent of the Juneteenth holiday actually is, because the more I read, the more confusing it becomes.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, I suppose I have the feeling on it because the state has decided to adopt that. And then the cultural awareness and the politics that kind of surround it, I take it from like an all inclusionary perspective. So I think do I take the easy way out by saying the states adopted it, therefore I would do it as a municipality? Yeah, I guess I could say it like that, and that way I would not have to comment on the cultural considerations or the history of where it came from. There are others that have a much deeper connection and a validation of the intent of June 19th and Juneteenth Independence Day, as it's referred to on the Secretary of State's website. So we could take no action, but I think we need to take a look at the personnel policy and make sure that we shore that up. What would you like to do, team? Terry's very quiet on this one.
Oh, I am, because I like the proclamation. I'm sorry. I do like the proclamation. I kind of would like the freedom to celebrate it on a Friday or a Monday. Like some communities are celebrating it on the 18th, even though it's the 19th, they're taking it on the Friday. So, I mean, we should shore up our policy. I'd like to pass it or make a motion to adopt it and then adopt it with the idea that we're going to make sure it fits, work the policy to fit.
Jeff, were you going to say something?
Yes, I was going to, my thought is to hold off on it and get the personnel policy question in front of the board and adjust that before we throw another holiday in the mix and just add to confusion and again, not a plan. And I really wouldn't want to put this on our next meeting because we have enough on that plate just tonight already. Maybe put this at the our last meeting in June, not our next meeting, but the one after, or in July sometime. I just think it needs a little more looking into before we just go, yep, we'll do it.
Okay. All right, so hearing that pause, would someone like to propose a motion? I move to take no action on the June 19th holiday this time.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none on the motion to take no action on the June 9th holiday at this time. How do you vote, Jeff?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Good conversation. We definitely need to take a look at the shoring up the personnel policy. Adam, I know you were diligently taking a note on that one. All right. Make sure I'm looking at the correct agenda. I've been hopping around. The last item that I have on my new business agenda is item M as in Mike, action related to or possible action related to Gilman weight fencing. Adam, do you have I know that there was a very underlined letter in our packet about this. It's from DPW director. You requested that he visit Gilman Waite Field to inspect the fence. Although he said, and I quote, although the fence is getting tired and weak, I did mark several areas that could possibly be a hazard with caution tape. I personally would not say this is a high risk issue yet. Yes, there is a chance someone could get injured on these sections. And if I had to rate this, I would say 4 or 5 out of 10 chance of this happening. It could be a new fence or someone could get hurt on it. As I stated, marked with areas of caution tape. I will order some fencing wired to make fencing more secure. This should improve the chances even less to get hurt. Adam, what's it on our agenda for?
So this is on our agenda due to a comment made on social media about the fencing being unsafe. Mr. Sozik, I had a conversation with him and he immediately went down there to put the tape up and do the town's due diligence. This is a matter of the board being aware of it, us taking at least immediate action up to this point, and how we want to proceed moving forward. But I think Bob offered a solution on doing repairing the temporary fencing for now. And he doesn't feel it's as high risk as what was claimed it was. So that's more of us providing the board with an update on that matter.
Okay. Are we, it's on our agenda, so I guess we can talk about it. Are we in damage control right now? What's going on with Gilman Waite, recreation and otherwise? I guess I'll restate it. Are we in damage control right now? What do we need to do to put the community at ease?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Absolutely, Jeff.
Yes, the comment about, the comment was, the fencing at Gilman Way is failing and unsafe. And that was posted on a Templeton Recreation Facebook page that you can find. You go to the Templeton Town website, you click on the top center of the page where it says social media. You click on that and it says, then there's a line that says other Templeton social media sites. You click on that and it shows a list of, it says Templeton Facebook pages, the police department, the fire department. It says Templeton Recreation. And that comment was posted after the failed article from the annual town meeting. And, posting that on a Templeton Facebook page, that's like the town putting out there, hey, if you go over here, there's unsafe failing fence. It's almost like you're asking for someone to go say, go lean on that fence and get hurt. And don't tell me that there aren't, people out there that would think like that. Not a lot of them, but it's just, we're a very litigious society these days, and that's I'm not the only selectman that mentioned that or contacted Adam about that, but that's why I believe this is here, and Bob went over to actually look at the fence. But again, it's not like it was on somebody's Facebook page or a group. That was on a Templeton Facebook page. You know, and if you're somebody that thinks there's a problem with the fence, you contact the administrator, get, you know, Bob over there and go look at it and make a determination that way. Whether the fence needs to be replaced or not, or could be, you know, need to be replaced because it's old or it doesn't match all the way around or whatever the case may be. The fact is that comment was posted on a Templeton Facebook page. You know, that's the equivalent of being on the town website. And I think what, to your point or question about what can, you know, we do to ease this up or make the town seem like, you know, address this issue, or so it doesn't become just a hot button thing where everybody's going back and forth on it. I just fall back on the presentation that a college did with recreation study that indicated, you know, people wanted recreation, and I've gone over there. I saw Adam and his family, a little girl on the playground. There were people doing different things. So there are people that go and use, contrary to what some people may think, even the little park in the Hilton Park in Otter River. I've seen cars there and people. So they do go and use them. And by default, the Board of Selectmen are responsible for the playgrounds and the parks because we don't have park commissioners. So this was going to be one of my comments, but since this is the fence at Gilman Waite, I think some of the things over there that failed at town meeting, certainly the building and the fencing, as the ones who are responsible for this, the party that should lead the way and push anything forward, we should look at this, make a decision. Do we want to replace this fence or just, you know, repair it or just give the stamp that, yeah, it's okay? But that would be, you know, our call and something that we could pursue to do and fund it two different ways. Fill out the request forms the way you're supposed to do according to the Community Preservation Act and the town's Community Preservation Committee. And those forms need to be updated because they reference December 2008 and 9. That's when the committee went into existence. And the building, I would say, is as well. At some point in time, I'd like to have that on as an agenda, so perhaps the board could discuss and vote on putting those two things forward as capital request items from the Board of Selectmen acting as park commissioners. And that's my thought on why this is on the agenda, where, you know, where those comments were put, and what we as a board could do to address this issue so it doesn't, you know, act as a festering thing where, you know, town meeting, I can't believe they voted this down and da, da, da. I mean, it's in our lap by default. And I think, you know, we can address it several ways. And I think.
Yeah, you got a lot there, but I think it's all good.
It's just, I just think, you know, it's in our lap by default, and we need to deal with it, address it one way, shape, or fashion. But that's my background information of why this is on the agenda.
Well, I guess you could guess that I've got some YouTube comments to read based on that. I'll read those in just one moment. I mean, literally just one moment. And they keep popping in too. So I kind of framed it by saying doing damage control, and I think you very, very well explained. Yeah, we've got some work to do. Fencing, you know, irrigation, anything that was identified as needs. I mean, I'll go ahead and I don't know if she's watching, you know, it's almost 10 o'clock, but Bev Bartolomeo kept saying, come to us with a plan, come to us with a plan. That's easy. If it was uncoordinated, it was missing a meeting or otherwise, I guess what you and I are saying right now, Jeff, is to say, all right, it's in our lap. Let's provide some leadership and get the right things on the right path. And when I say that, I'm going to go ahead and read some of the comments that I have right now. It's a combination of Mr. Scott Dill and Mrs. April Cover. First item, Scott said the tape has fallen off and the other areas were not marked as dangerous. So into that letter that we got, we've got to be like we did with Pleasant Street. If it's town property, and I'll get to that in a sec. If it's town property, if it's something that's not safe, then we should mark it accordingly. Second item, Scott had the fencing should have been addressed in the past. This is not the first time this has been brought up to the TA or administration. Mrs. Culver said, we need to clarify the questionable deed to the state that the town owned the property. So if there's a little bit of title work, we hear you, April. Scott, again, I will gladly meet with the DPW director and the board of selectmen. I can wait to show the areas that were not marked and our definite hazard. And then he took back the last one. I have a couple of retracted messages, but essentially that really feeds into what we're saying here is that if there are many issues or competing issues or lack of cohesive way forward, then let's work on that. I wasn't there at town meeting. I watched it remotely from Utah, and I definitely heard a lot of frustrated voices during that. It's not ended. You know, the field is still there. You know, you just said that you saw Adam using it. Let's get the right answer. Get Bev her plan. Make sure that the title is clean and move forward. But sticking each other in the eye isn't going to do very much for the community that wants to use a beautiful field like that. That's all I have to say about Gilman Waite. Tim or Terry, or any rebuttal from Jeff.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just a comment.
Absolutely.
And to Mr. Bennett's point. I saw the same messages go up immediately after the annual town meeting and the next day. I specifically reached out and I asked to the admin, is this a private page? Is this a town page? The answer I got back was it was private. Within 24 hours, that thread disappeared. We do have a link on our town website, but this plays right into our previous meeting where we need to work on our social media policy.
Agreed.
A lot of things going across Facebook are not an official means of communication, and that's something I think we need to ratchet down a little better than we have.
Okay. I can tell the board that I have the draft copy. I think there's even a draft copy of a social media policy that's on the website, but I'll take the lead on that to basically blow the dust off of it and see where we're at with it. I had worked with, I was not on the board, but I told Diane Haley years ago when she was putting it together that I would work with her, and I actually did help her to review it. So it's not as if I have not seen it before. I may have even made or had some contributions to it. So for Tim and Jeff, I will definitely look at our social media policy. But yeah, we've got to pull in the reins on the things that we call official, and if the things that aren't official, we have to make sure that we take action to say, you can't use town logo or otherwise. It's better to have an control in an official capacity. Good point. YouTube chat is silent. We got about 2 minutes before we got to make a motion to go past 10. Anything else on the fencing?
That is all I have.
Okay. That's for informational purposes. If there's nothing else on the fencing, that is the end of new business. I see that we don't have old business. I would like to change that in the future, ladies and gentlemen. No, I don't. No, that's right. Old business is the stuff that we've passed on. So anything that we're tabling or otherwise should go in the area of the old business. Never mind. I don't know where my brain was. Before we go into board member comments, Adam, do we need an executive tonight? Adam,
I believe that would be good.
you need an executive session? All right, so before the board member comments, it's 1 minute before 10. Could I have a motion for us to work beyond the 10 o'clock hour?
So move.
Okay, I have a motion. I need a second.
Second,
I have a second on the motion to work past the 10 o'clock hour in our business meeting. How would you vote, Jeff?
yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, it's 10 o'clock now. We're going to move beyond. Let's roll into board member comments. I am going to start with our new vice chief, Tim.
Thank you. I think I've said pretty much everything I intended to say tonight. I appreciate the confidence of the board to put me into the position. I will do my best to continue to learn and chug along. And as I'm entering my public policy class that started today, I just wrapped up budgeting right on time as we push the town budget through. Everything that I'm learning through this MPA, I'm utilizing day by day. So it's kind of relevant to me right at the moment.
Thanks, Tim. Good luck on your class. Before we go to any more comments, Adam, do you anticipate requiring a vote, or is it just informational?
Just informational, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so TCTV, we will not be coming back the only reason we're going to come back is to close the meeting. No votes. Jeff.
No, I covered what I was gonna say under the fencing. I would just remind people that this weekend coming up is Memorial Day, and it's a specific reason for that holiday. And in between bites, burgers, beer, whatever you're doing, just take a minute to remember what it's really all about. Regardless of how you feel on this, that, or anything, there are people that went for something they believed in, and they didn't all come back, and that's what it's for. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Terry?
Thank you, Jeff. Well said. Yep, I'm good. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. And the only thing, I'm glad I will be our next meeting. I'll be seeing everybody in person. I look forward to that. And I will be speaking as a select board chair at the Memorial Day program hosted by the American Legion. Their guest speaker is Sergeant Major Young, who I've served with, and he has a V device on an RCOM for his service in Iraq. And he is a Appalachian Trail enthusiast, gets out on the trail helping vets deal with PTSD. I look forward to seeing Sergeant Major Young on Monday. Thank you very much, Jeff, for your words and everybody else's support. And that's all I have. And that's all we have for this evening. So I would entertain a motion for executive session and with no possible action this evening, according to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A3, that is strategy relating to collective bargaining.
So moved.
Thank you for the motion.
Second.
Okay, I got a double second. On the motion to go into executive session, Chapter 30, 21A3, collective bargaining, how would you vote, Tim?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. It is 10:04. Steve, if you could help us with the breakout rooms, or do I click? Oh, there we go. And just for everyone's, we will only be coming back to close the meeting. So good night, folks. Stay safe. See you in person.